Welcome back to another video. So you guys, here's an interesting little subject that we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the Rugrats aging to about 30 years old. The new series, which is all CGI by the way, kept mainly the same formula for the Rugrats, but they did alter some of the characters like, Grandpa Lou or Howie. Speaking of Howard, I mean, they literally got rid of Howard. Like, he's like non existent in the show now. So I wish we had like a little story dialogue on why he disappeared or why he's not on the show anymore. But it is what it is, you guys. So Rugrats did appear in the 1990s up until the mid 2000s. So it was like 2004, 2003 they stopped making the Rugrats show. As you can see, this was hand drawn. So in the earlier shows, it was mainly hand drawn and they didn't have really no technology that like we have today. So the new series from Paramount, it's all CGI, so it's all computer based. It's very easy to do. They can literally make a character within possibly hours and just make their facial expressions or whatever they want to do within hours of, editing the software. And so back then, you actually had to draw these things out. You had to actually draw them walking and doing all this. So it was a very lengthy process. It was very expensive to do as well. So this is why they're going this route of CGI. I mean, you could also see in modern shows like Disney or any type of modern cartoon now is all CGI. It's easier to make. It's cheaper to make, and people love it. So back to the good stuff. So we're gonna talk about an episode here which is all grown up. This appeared, I believe, in 1998. So this was like pretty much the pilot episode, which was only one episode, and then they finally made a spin-off of it, which aired from 2003. I believe it was only a few years, so it was probably about 3 years for the show of All Grown Up, which it did not do that good in ratings, and Nickelodeon really didn't support it as much. Story wise, I felt like the show just didn't add up. It was a lot of teen drama, and it really didn't really fit in with with the time that it was placed. For me, it was very difficult to watch this All Grown Up. It was just I think, I've always said this, but what they should have done is made the All Grown Up, okay, make a few episodes of them all grown up, and then of course they're like about 10 years old in this episode right here. So they should have made maybe 2 3 episodes of them being 10 years old, and then the next episodes, they age them to about 15, do about 2 3 episodes of that, put them in through college, and then age them up to about 30 years old. And they could have kept the series going from there. Like the next series, like it could have been the first season would have been like the truly all grown up experience where they become 10 years old all the way to 30, 30 something years old. And then they could have made the second season, the true form of 30 years old. And then, maybe in the third season, they could have introduced new babies to the fraction, And so, it's just a missed opportunity. And I wish they would have, done that. I think people would have loved that. I think the writers, they didn't really have a grand scheme. They didn't really have a vision for this series. The writers, like, again, it's very difficult to write these kinds of shows, and I see why they made this. I mean, it's more of a nostalgia thing, really, but I just think that if you had somebody that had the vision to really make Rugrats like grand, like, and I think if Rugrats, if they did age the Rugrats to 30 years old, I believe even in 2024 we would still have some Rugrats playing. Just like Simpsons. Simpsons was like the longest running show in history of cartoons forever, you know? But yeah, you guys, I mean, just imagine like having Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, you know, even Kimmy, all about 35 years old, all with different children. You know, they meet up for the pilot episode. Everybody, you know, gathers up maybe for like a Christmas party and all the babies are together like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in, you know, so and so years, you know." And it's just it would be an awesome experience, you guys, like to have all the babies there, everybody's having a reunion and then bam, you start off with the new series. For me, I mean, there's so much potential in that. You know, not only can you create a storyline based on the Rugrats themselves as 35 years old, you can create that storyline. And then you have the storyline of their babies growing up and their adventures growing up, you know, so you can have a little of both. You know, we know the history of Angelica, we know the history of Chucky, Tommy, Phil, Lil, you know, Kimmy, you know, we know all that history. So imagine having that history plus the new babies that they have and their storyline with it. You know, it's just so much potential, man. But again, it's a failed, missed opportunity. It's never gonna happen, I don't think, you know. I mean, unless somebody gives Rugrats a green light and say, hey, you guys want to remake this? But you know, again, it's not the same without the original you know, actors that played the voices of, you know, the Rugrats. You know, like you'd have to have those types of, you know, actors to play the voices, you know. But with that said, if you were to age the Rugrats, you can use an entirely new cast of, you know, characters. You know, they don't even have to sound like them. They can actually sound, you know, a very deep voice, you know. And even with the, you know, the babies, you can actually get an entire newly cast. You can get somebody straight out from college that, you know, is hungry for voice act, and you know, it's cheaper like that. I don't know, you guys, it is what it is. But back to that scenario that I was talking about, like what they should do with an aged up Rugrats. So basically, the Rugrats, you know, they meet up at the Christmas party. Everybody brings their kids. Tommy and Chucky say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in, you know, 5 years. Where have you been? You know, I've been in so and so different city. You know, in my business trip or whatever." And of course, you know, Angelica being 30 years old, you know damn well she would be like a business, you know, savvy person just like her mom or dad, you know. So I'm pretty sure Angelica would be super duper rich, you know, and they can talk about, you know, Angelica talk about, you know, stocks and you know, business ideas, and you know, pretty much she would ignore her child to enter her, you know, her phone or her computer because, you know, she has a business meeting coming up. Or you know, and like they could have had, you know, Angelica on the show and just like constantly answer the phone, and then, you know, maybe 20 minutes later she's like, "Oh my god, I got to go. I have to fly out to whatever, Chicago or whatever, to get this business out the way," you know. So there's just so much potential they could have done with that, you know. You could have had the story with Angelica being super rich, you know, her child super mean, you know. Tommy's kid could have been super adventurous, just like that. You know, again, Tommy being 30 years old, maybe he's creating like the newest tech waves of, you know, the newest technology for everybody to enjoy. And he's, you know, just living life like that. Chucky, again, you know, he could be 30 years old and super afraid. You know, even his kid could be super afraid. You know, Phil and Lil, maybe they can have, you know, twins or whatever. Maybe Phil has twins and then Lil has another set of twins. And that's like, just like more babies down the line. Oh, you know, and I cannot forget about my favorite character, which is Susie, you guys. I definitely can't forget about Susie, you guys. Like Susie is like one of the best characters out there, and I feel bad because I haven't been really talking about her, but again, you can have Susie, Susie's kid, can really stop, Angelica's kid from doing, any harm to their babies. This is for our next video, you guys. So if you guys like my content, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys think about this new series that I'm making. I will be making continuous videos of this, and we will be trying to post this almost every single weekend. So stay tuned, you guys. We're going to be talking a lot of Rugrats content. We're going to be reviewing shows and just talking randomness about Rugrats and what the future holds, and what they should have done to make Rugrats better for the future, which there probably is not no future anymore for Rugrats. The series is done for, but I just want to really talk about its history and its importance to the cartoon universe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.